Orcs, classic baddies that have delighted and entertained readers, roleplayers, and moviegoers for years. I remember many a Saturday evening slaughtering these vintage villains by the hundreds, while enjoying glorious dungeon crawls through the bowels of the various campaign settings of Dungeons & Dragons, Rollmaster, and Rifts. In Orcs Must Die, developer Robot Entertainment gives you the opportunity to wipe out hordes of orcs, ogres, and other monsters without the pedantic rat race of character generation, dice rolling, or rage-inducing rules lawyering that can ruin a perfectly good afternoon. Simply pick up a controller and get to work. Playing the role of a young war mage, you must stop the orc mob from gaining access to the world of men by defending magical rifts which are housed in various fortresses. To achieve this, you must blast, eviscerate, impale, and otherwise massacre hordes of orcs any way you desire using the spells, traps, and weapons you unlock and upgrade as you progress through the game. There are 24 fortresses in all, and each one is unique. Orcs Must Die combines the tactics of tower defense with the action and speed of a third-person shooter. Use choke points and sound economics to construct defenses that will help you survive multiple waves of marauders per level. After each wave, you will have a short break to tweak your defenses and prepare for the next wave. Winning a level isn't as simple as placing a trap or two and letting them do the work for you. You're going to need to get your weapons dirty as well. The amount of money you have at the beginning of each level is just enough to get you started. You'll have to earn the rest by wiping out each wave of the mob. Let too many through the rift, and it's lights out for the realm of men. The controls in Orcs Must Die are easy to learn, responsive, and smooth. Important features when facing multiple waves of critters in each level. Even with dozens of enemies on screen, character control and movement is fluid and intuitive with a polished feel which is vital to your survival in later levels. Visually, Orcs Must Die isn't as advanced as a Gears of War or Batman Arkham City, but it still has a lot going for it. Flames engulf enemies, reducing them to little more than ash while their bodies explode in geysers of blood as arrows, spikes, and swords work their magic. In a game such as this, there is nothing more satisfying than wreaking havoc on the hordes of orcs, seeing every blast, impalement, and incineration. Lighting effects are subtle while the color palette used is bright and vibrant. Rarely do your enemies fade into the shadows or get lost in the background as you're fighting them. There's no need to correct the gamma, it's well balanced the moment you launch the game. The only real hiccup in the visual presentation of the game is the camera. Throughout Orcs Must Die, camera movement and angle is consistent, however, there are times when you back into a wall or corner when the view can get distorted. Though not as aggravating or obnoxious as falling through the landscape in Fallout New Vegas or Skyrim, it can lead to your character being hemmed in or surrounded by dozens of enemies with nowhere to run. This issue is easily avoided by knowing where you are in relation to the walls and corners. Quite simply, Orcs Must Die is a blast to play. Setting up complex networks of traps and spell combinations to bring about the demise of thousands of orcs and their ilk is a great way to kill an hour or an entire afternoon. There is nothing more satisfying than designing the perfect gauntlet for the orcs to navigate and watching your schemes in action, often with humorous results. Though it can be repetitive from time to time and the story arc is less than robust, this title is well worth the $15 to $20 it costs. Additional downloadable content is available if you wish to keep the carnage churning. With multiple difficulty levels, leaderboards, and upgradable spells, traps, and weapons, Orcs Must Die is worth more than a token playthrough. There is no multiplayer, so it is a lonely path your war mage must walk, but it is a path worth walking multiple times. With additional DLC and dozens of spells and traps to upgrade, Orcs Must Die is well worth your time and money. The verdict is in, and we give Orcs Must Die an 85 out of 100.